Elikem Kumordzi the Tailor.
Sir.
How you doing, man?
Very well.
Good to see you. You're looking fresh as always.
Charlie, we're trying to keep up the momentum.
You have a nice place, Charlie.
Thank you very much.
Very cute, very cozy, very, what do I say, colorful.
Thank you.
Very artistic as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's talk about your fashion designing. How is it going so far?
So far, so good. I feel like I could be doing more. You know, I say to myself that I'm only 1% of where I want to be in the fashion game. So there's more room for improvement. And so I'm hoping to become, you know, one of the biggest retail brand from Africa. And that's the dream.
Okay.
That's where we're headed.
Okay. How many years has it been since you started professionally?
Professionally, almost 10 years, almost a decade.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years. Yeah, I registered the business in 2013. And at the time I registered it because I was given advice to register and hold a name. Otherwise, someone might take it.
Yeah.
And I still didn't take it so serious until maybe like a 2015, 2016. But yeah, I've been running around trying to do fashion for almost 10 years.
Wow. Is this something you had always wanted to do from childhood? Because, I mean, I knew you to be an actor.
Right. So no, I had problems paying my tuition, school fees.
Okay.
At level 300, and I deferred a year.
Which school?
Legon, the University of Ghana.
Okay.
I deferred 1 year. I cut school, and that's where I found fashion. I'll go to Kantamanto and buy Force clothes, and I'll come change the buttons, and I'll put some skirmishes in it, and I'll go out, and people liked it. And then I thought, oh, I could actually make a business out of it. And that's how it started. I always wanted to be an actor, like you're saying. I grew up watching, you know, your Will Smiths and Denzel Washingtons, and I thought I could do that. And I ended up being a fashion designer with being an actor as well.
Wow. So dreams do come true.
Yep.
Wow. And it's been almost 8 to 10 years.
Yep.
You style almost every celebrity in Ghana.
Almost.
Yes.
Yeah, almost.
How,
it gets overwhelming.
How you, aside the fact that you are in the same industry with them, aside the fact that some of them are your colleagues, some are friends, how are you able to attract them? Because I mean, the fact that you are their friend is not enough justification for them to work here.
True.
How are you able to attract them?
True, and I'll put a good pin to that because I found that in recent times, our celebrities and the people that we respect as celebrities and as legends or whatever call me to say, Elikem, I like that outfit of yours. I want one. I'll give you a recent scenario. RMD.
Richard Mofe Damecho.
Yes.
Nigerian.
I call him Mofe, Uncle Mofe. I went to the Rhythms on the Runway show and I was wearing an outfit from the Bola collection, which is my new look. And I went and said hello to him. I knelt down and I said, Oga, good evening. You don't know me. I'm a fashion designer, but I'm a big fan of yours. And God bless you for your good work. And I walked away and I went to sit down. I was sitting on the same row with him. And some 30 minutes later, he called me. He was like, come. So I went and I knelt down again and he said, did you make what you're wearing? I said, yes. He said, I want one. I was like, oh shit. Pardon my French. But for him to randomly call me and say he wanted one of my outfits,
I know he's a
meant
fashion
a lot.
enthusiast.
Exactly. It meant a lot to me to say people actually acknowledge and appreciate my work. I say this also, I spoke to a Chame Kwame about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and the Chame Kwame was ecstatic about some clothes I made for him and his family. And he gave me so much props. And these are the things that make me realize that I'm doing something right, and I do really have a certain talent in the area for people of such caliber to appreciate my work. And the name goes on and on and on. Talk of the Majid Michelle, talk of the Chris Attos. Amakia Babasel was one of the first few celebrities to wear my clothes in the UK, and so on and so forth. It's a wonderful, feeling for people to appreciate your work so much. Yeah.
Do you just do male fashion or you do both?
So I do both, but predominantly male. I do more male than female.
Why is that? Because you are a male?
Well, first of all, I project more what I love to wear, what I think suits me most, and that's what I market out there. And then secondly, I think the female clothing is a little more complicated than the male, and I am not so specialized in that field.
Okay.
But I do like ready-to-wear, smart casual female clothes, and I stopped doing the couture mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Is it lucrative? Are you making money out of it? I mean, I know acting has gone down a bit.
Yeah.
Is fashion the same?
No, so nothing actually really goes down if you put a lot of work into it.
Okay.
If anything is going down, then it's your own problem as an individual to promote it or to push it. But as long as you remain creative in your field, it's always good.
Okay.
Now, the acting industry in Ghana in general is not so lucrative. We all know that. And so is the fashion space. But when you set a certain niche or mark for yourself and put yourself on a certain pedestal, you're able to milk out of it properly. So fashion is good. The building you see us sitting in was built by fashion.
Wow.
And it's a story building. It's going up some more. Some of the cars I drive was bought by fashion. I own a motorbike that's expensive. It's bought by fashion. I live in a nice, comfortable apartment. My sons are okay. I'm not going to sit down and damn and condemn the work. It's good. But it's only good because of the work we put into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you project yourself, Elikem Kumordzi the Tailor, in 5 years, 10 years? Are we going to see a whole complex for Elikem Kumordzi? Because I understand you're going into shoes as well. You're going into slippers.
Yes.
How is the future looking like for Elikem Kumordzi the
So
Tailor?
the future is awesomely awesome. Pardon me and my phone. I want to become the Zara of Africa.
Okay.
From Africa to the rest of the world. I want to become a household brand in the fashion retail space. I want to be able to produce ready-to-wear clothes and off-the-rack clothes where you can just walk into a store or go online and shop and get them in record time. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm projecting, looking at a few branches across the continent and the world. I'm also looking at my online presence. Okay. And yes, I want to become typically, like I said, like Zara.
Wow. I mean, I see you doing it. I see Elikem Kumordzi becoming very big.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who still feel, when did you become a fashion designer? One, what are you doing differently that makes you stand out? Your brand. I see a couple of billboards around that I don't see from a lot of fashion designers in Ghana. Right. What do you think you're doing differently that is pushing you? Because some people have been there for more than 20 years.
Yeah,
and
true.
Their presence, their relevance is not as much as yours.
True. So I look for the deficits in the fashion industry and I try to fix them. Okay. And one of the major problems we have in Ghana when it comes to tailoring and fashion is timing. Tailors promise you a certain time to come and pick up your clothes, but they disappoint you a great deal. It's one thing I greatly avoid. My firm and I make sure that when we give you a specific set time, we deliver on time. So one of our motto is luxury affordable clothes in record time.
Okay.
So we finish for you as quickly as possible and as clean as possible, which is one of the mottos we live by. And so you find customers returning and coming back because even though we may not be the best in the country, we stick to our time and our word, which is what we live by.
Okay. Okay. So you haven't disappointed anybody? Because I mean,
we have.
It looks like it's something that runs through every fashion house.
I'm not gonna lie, but our disappointment span will be like a good 10%. We'll probably disappoint 10% of our clients because of unforeseen circumstances. Lights go off, a generator is giving us problems, tailors are not feeling too well.
Sometimes they're even absent.
We don't find fabric that we agreed on, but it's very, very, very minimal. Very minimal. Very.
I remember you did a video on social media talking about this particular issue.
yeah. I said photographers now disappoint more than tailors.
Yeah. I mean, would you want to explain that? Because when I posted, the photographers also came at you that you also did this. You also did what? First of all, what prompted that video, and then
so it was a certain job. It was a collaboration I did with some photographers, and they were supposed to give me my pictures at a certain time, and it wasn't coming. So I sat down in this very chair, and I said to myself, actually, tailors are better now. I give people time, especially that photographer. It's collaboration, it's exchange. I make clothes for them, they take pictures of me. And when they ask for clothes to go for a function or to take photographs, I finish for them on time. But when it got to me and delivering my photos, they were not bringing it. So that video was out of a personal experience, which I had at that very moment in time.
Okay.
And I think I still stand firmly on my point.
Okay.
That I speak for myself. We're better now as tailors, and I deliver on time. But some photographers, they're big disappointments now.
What reactions did you get after that video? I mean,
you know, photographers came to bash me. Tailors were on my side. There was a clear divide. But that's how the world goes. You're not going to have everybody on your side. If you have a strong opinion, there's always going to be the left side and the right side who stand by you or not.
When it comes to fashion, especially on the red carpets, how would you rate it now? Looking at before and now, on the celebrities, fashion on the red carpet. I know you styled a couple of them. I remember you styled Episode, you did Ken Ator, did a couple of guys on the red carpet. How would you rate celebrity fashion on the red carpet as a fashion designer and as a celebrity as well?
At a point in time, it went up a notch. Again, around the time Oscar Doe was encouraging us to dress well and awarding us for it. It's gone down a little bit now. Having said that, I think the celebrity culture is not as rich in the country. Ghana. I've traveled wide. I've been almost everywhere except the Americas. And you go to South Africa, the celebrity culture is rich and respected. And so when you're invited to a show, for example, to make an appearance, they consider your wardrobe and pay you for it. So it allows you time and space and the funds to create something worthwhile. But over here in Ghana, you won't believe that I did a job for one of these movie schemes. I hosted a red carpet show and they paid me only like 12 months later.
After the show.
And the money they paid wasn't even up to the amount of the clothes I was supposed to make. So how then am I going to look good if you don't pay me on time? You don't even pay me a deposit before the show, and I'm meant to look good for your show. So I think some celebrities are not funded properly enough to show up at certain places. Okay. And then on the red carpet, we also are not enthusiastic enough or motivated enough to show a certain type of face, quote unquote, when it comes to clothing. We're a bit relaxed and blasé about the whole situation. And I don't know what's going to resurrect that. That's why they say sometimes competition is healthy.
Yeah.
Because Oscar created a certain kind of competition around dressing up and being awarded, so people took it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
But now you find out that only certain people who call themselves fashionistas, Nanekia Ado, maybe your Too Sweet Anans, your Zinel Zoos, they come out looking solid, and everybody else is just relaxed about the fashion. I hosted the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards red carpet recently, and it was a little disappointing.
The male or the females?
Both. Because even the females are allowed to look more flamboyant than the males, but they don't. They're still a bit relaxed about the fashion. And a few people just threw themselves off wearing some funny looking stuff. But then again, you can't criticize someone for looking a certain way, because maybe I say fashion is like psychology. It's from your subconscious. It's how you feel. That's how you dress. So I just leave that topic to marinate it by itself.
Let me leave the celebrities aside. I know you clothe some bloggers as well.
Right.
Some photographers.
Like you?
Yes. People have criticized bloggers.
Right.
That, Charlie, you don't look good. You guys, you're always criticizing celebrities.
Right.
How would you, what's your opinion about bloggers and how they look in Ghana?
So it's good you almost put bloggers and photographers in the same category.
Yeah.
Because you guys almost always feel like you're not part of the show. You're here to cover the show, or yes, so to speak.
You are not in the limelight. We're behind
exactly.
the scenes.
But what you forget is you're actually in the very midst of people. So the way you dress speaks a lot about you. And if you're not dressed well, but you're amongst people not looking good, not smelling good, it's a bad look for you as an individual brand. And I think that the way you look and the way you smell is very important to you as a person and your personality. And so I'm happy to dress bloggers and photographers, because then they come back appreciating how much they were complimented, looking good in the midst of people. You're not invincible. You're not invincible. You're very much a human being, and you're being seen. So it's very important to look after the looks, of these kinds of people. And I'm always happy to do it. I say to my colleagues and the people I work with that let's not discriminate, and let's treat every client the same way. Whether it's a paying customer or it's for marketing purposes, our time is our time, our finishing is the same, our cuts are the same, and we maintain and keep the same module. So what Eugene Nkonkonsa will wear, what Zion Felix will wear, will be the same as what a Majid Michelle will wear, or what I will do for a Denzel Washington. It cuts across the same way.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So how would you rate, I want you to hit the bloggers.
Right.
How would you rate, there are not too many female bloggers.
Right.
Known female bloggers. How
Right.
do you rate
Some of them hide.
Yes. How do you rate the bloggers, how they look, their fashion sense? Between 1 to 10.
2 or
Seriously?
3. Seriously, because some of them come out sweaty. Some of them are wearing the same clothes they've been wearing since morning, and they come out to an evening event. What I do personally is, when I know I have an evening event, I sometimes chill during the day, and I get ready 30 minutes or an hour before the event. So you come out looking fresh, you come out smelling fresh, you come out feeling fresh, because the brain is such a powerful tool. And when you're exhausted before an important event or occasion, it's almost worn out. And it won't give you the same amount of productivity. If you're a very busy person, you schedule it. Now, I say 2 because like I said, some of these bloggers, photographers think they're invincible. And no one can see them. But yet they're in the front row of the show, or they're on the main stage at the back, or they're walking in the middle of the aisle. And the reason why I give it a 2 is that for someone who's standing in the midst of a crowd at an event,
celebrities, known people,
the cut of your shirt must be on point. And when you find so much folds and creases, it's an eyesore in the fashion sense itself. And ever since I started dressing up, Eugene and Zion and a few other bloggers and photographers, there's been good comments about, hey, wear only Elikem from now on and don't wear anything else. Oh, you look this good.
True.
So clearly, there's a transition from what you used to wear before you wore Elikem's clothes. And I think it sets a benchmark. Once those comments start flowing in, you guys know that, oh, there's been a difference in the change of my wardrobe, and let me keep it up. Because your job should be respected as much as my job, or a lawyer's job, or a doctor's job. And if you can't dress to suit the occasion, then don't come out. Because your job is to stand in the midst of people and blog. And so your appearance is very, very important. That's how I feel.
Okay. Before we end on the fashion bits, I know you went to school in South Africa.
Yes.
Tell us about it. What did you go to study? How has it impacted your brand?
So I strongly believe that the more you learn, the more you earn. And there's no limit to learning. And what you learn becomes a part of you, and that's what makes you who you become and who you are. And so later on, after starting the fashion game, I realized that I needed to learn certain facets in the fashion game to stay on top of some of my competition and colleagues. And one of it was the finishing, because fashion came to me naturally. And I also learned that talent usually doesn't take you so far as much as skill does. And skills are learned. You can't just acquire skills. Talents are ingrown, you're born with, but you learn the skills. And so upon discovering my natural talent, I need to develop on my skill. And the only way is to learn and learn more. So South Africa for me was a great eye-opener.
Okay.
I went to study a little bit of garment cutting, pattern drafting.
So tell us about the institution you attended and the course you studied.
Yeah, so it's called Uber Glam. It's in Randburg in Johannesburg.
Okay.
And I studied pattern drafting, a little bit of cutting, and finishing and notions. I did a two weeks course also at Rios Originate. It's a school right here in Jolu. Richard is the owner, great guy, and he's such a great teacher. But I didn't have the time to go to school for the lesson, so I had to travel out. Okay. And I was supposed to shoot a movie in South Africa, and that was the opportunity I took to do fashion school. And it's impacted me greatly, so much that I came back and taught the people I work with what I learned, and that's what's changed the face of my business. And this year, on my vision board is to do another fashion school in America or the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations again, Charlie.
Oh, thanks.
You're doing well. One thing that I also see you do, especially on social media, is your employee appreciation.
Right.
I see you guys do fufu together. You guys, you're like a family.
Yes.
Why is that? And how is it helping the business?
I think...
First of all, how many people do you employ at Elikem?
We are about 15 in total.
Wow.
The number fluctuates because some people choose to show up some days and some don't. But we're 15, including me, in total.
Wow.
And I don't have many friends. And I think my employees are my friends. Because we learn together, we build the company together. The company is where it is now because of the people I work with. I couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah.
I can't do it alone. You're here with the camera crew because you can't do it alone. Yeah. And so all appreciation goes to the people I work with. That's why you see us balling. And I only show 5% of what we actually do as a team. Oh, yeah. There's a lot more we do together, eating together. Recently, we're eating rice and egg stew in a big pan. And everyone put their hand in.
We didn't see that on social media.
No, and someone said, Elikem record. I said, we don't put everything on social media. It's fine. Let's just enjoy the moment, And I owe everything that we've built to the people I work with. And I say that to some extent, when we get to a certain level, they must be appreciated more. And so that's what I believe. I believe that they become family and they help you grow. And because you can't do it alone, they're very, very, very important.
Okay. So let's end the fashion bits there for now. And then let's go to what really brought you into the limelight, Big Brother Africa.
Right. I think that was a good platform that shot me, into like a good space.
Where were you before Big Brother?
I was in the University of Ghana. I auditioned once. I wasn't picked.
Which
2 years
year?
later,
Which year?
I auditioned. It must have been 2011. I wasn't
First
picked.
audition.
2013, I was picked. And going on to the show, I got a few tips.
Were you motivated by a friend, like somebody would say, "Oh, a friend told me they are doing audition"?
No, actually, I was motivated by the platform and what it will do for me as an entertainer, fashion designer.
So it means then you hadn't even gone too much into the fashion, the show business?
Not a lot.
Wow.
Mind you, I had dressed a few celebrities, Majid, Chris Atto, Amakea Berbese, and I was on the cover of The Hunters, Bachelors, a few movies. No, Bachelors was after, pardon me. But I watched the first ever Big Brother Africa with Sammy B and Tailor and Bayo and the rest.
Abi,
And it was great to watch. And then after that, I would only catch snippets from social media or TV or whatever until I auditioned. And so I was only keen on going on the show to help me promote me being an actor and being a fashion designer, and that's why I went.
How did it go for you? I mean, you didn't win, but I remember you were very big, you were very popular, it made you very popular.
Right. I was the first and only Ghanaian thus far to ever get to the finals. So that's what made it a big deal for me on the show. I also got some advices from Confidence, DKB, and you, Eugene. You were in the room that night. So when I was picked onto the show, I called up. I'm not saying the full story, but I called up. I think DKB, and DKB said, "Let's go to."
Because he had already gone.
Yes, he had gone the year prior. So I was like, "Can I get a few tips?" That's how we learn. We learn from our mentors. We learn from the mistakes of other people. Yes, and a few tips they gave me added with mine, I think is what shot me to get to the finals. Because if they had gone to a certain level, I added on to what they did and where they got to, and that's what got me to the finals. And I didn't win mainly because there was split vote. There was 2 West Africans plus me. So West African votes were split among 3 people, and South Africa won it because they got a lot of the Southern African votes coupled with East Africa. And so it's not bad that I lost because the platform did a lot of good things for me, and I'm appreciative for it. And I'm happy we're here now because it's been good.
People say a lot of stuff about Big Brother.
Right.
Is there anything you regret in Big Brother? Is there anything about Big Brother that you don't like? I mean, I know you're not supposed to talk about it after 3 years, but the 3 years is over now. So.
Oh really? I didn't get that memo.
Yeah. Is there anything about Big Brother that you didn't like? Maybe the shower, maybe the nudity, maybe. Is there anything at all about
the only thing about Big Brother that got a bit depressing is the fact that you don't have communication with the outside world, and you don't have a timekeeping device. You can't watch TV. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what people think and feel about you. But otherwise, it was such a great experience, and I don't level up on regrets and past experiences. I think they make us what we are today or what we're going to be in the future. So it's all awesome, my experiences, and I'll do it again in a heartbeat.
I remember you in the shower, pictures coming out.
Hey, my friend.
Showing the size.
We don't want to go there.
Showing the size of your thing.
Charlie. I've never seen those videos and pictures till today.
It's on the internet.
It is
when you
still?
Google Elikem Big Brother, I'm sure they'll pop up.
Charlie. Yeah, but I think I'll look for it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I will.
And you coming back, how were you able to, some of the people go into the show, they come back and their lives are fucked up. They are not able to put everything together.
Yeah, true.
How are you able to put the fame that came and you even started stronger, you became more popular, you became more stronger in the acting industry.
Right.
Your fashion even shot up. How are you able to do that?
Like I said, I went on the show knowing what I was going
had
to
a
do.
plan.
Yes, I was going to use the platform. So from day one, I entered Big Brother Africa. I said to myself, I don't care if I come up for nomination. Because if I go home, I want to use 1 week to promote myself so hard, people will remember me. Which is what someone like Huda did. Huda was in my season and she left after week 1, but she's one of the most popular housemates from my season, but she left early on. And so I say to myself that we use the platform for the advantages, to our own advantage. And I wore my tape measure every single day on the show. I wore an outfit of mine every single day of the show. And I make sure I projected and pushed myself into the light more, being on the show. And that's why I went with a game plan. So coming out of Big Brother, people knew me to be a fashion designer. People knew me to be a tailor. I made 3 dresses in 30 minutes with my hand, stitching with my hands on the show. Oh, wow. And that was one of the highlights of me being on the show.
So would you say that was the biggest moment for you? Is there any memorable moment that you remember that you think that was it? That was the moment during Big Brother?
The most memorable is when I came up for eviction with Sulu. I knew I was going to go home. I was ready to go home.
You were psyched.
I was like, this one there, Sulu's a tough guy. But then Sulu was called and evicted, and it's like, oh, snap. There's something good coming for me. Keep pushing. You know, and that very moment being in the house is one of the most memorable. I can remember it so vividly. He was wearing a yellow shirt, I was wearing an all black. It's just so vivid in my memory. And that moment for me was a game changer. Because then I said to myself, if Africa wants me to stay in the house, it means they love me for one reason or the other. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Wow. And now Big Brother Africa is no more. How does it make you feel? I mean, it's not giving people the opportunity you had.
Good and bad. Good because I still maintain my status of being the only Ghanaian to ever get there. Very good for me. Bad because yes, it doesn't allow people, other people, the opportunity to showcase themselves and their talent and you know, come up and be up like I did.
Would you want it back, or would you suggest a Big Brother Ghana as other people are suggesting? Now there's Big Brother Nigeria.
I've been the backstage of Big Brother, and it's such a huge production. It needs a lot of resources and technical know-how that I think Ghana doesn't have.
Okay.
Unfortunately. First of all, it's our infrastructure. Secondly, is the mediocrity we put to our craft. Most Ghanaian producers and filmmakers play mediocre. Majority.
Why do you say that?
Because I've been on many movie sets. I've been on many film sets. I've been on many TV show sets.
In Ghana?
Yes. And first of all, they won't start on time. Their lighting is bad. Their sound is damaged. Everything is just totally offbeat. So for someone like me who have had experience with solid productions coming from South Africa, from the UK, I see the mediocrity in our production. And we have the talent. We have most of the equipment. We just don't play a serious game, period.
The know-how.
We have a bit of the technical know-how as well, but we just don't play a serious game. Having said that, on the other side, we have a few good men who have put Ghana on the map in terms of production, movie production and TV production, and those are the people that we will say kudos to for helping us with the game. But we need more than 20%.
Do you want to mention some names?
Yeah. Straight away, I can mention your Ivan Kwashiga. I've worked with him directly. And he's so professional, he's so on point. He doesn't play with his production time, and he doesn't make shift or he doesn't snap. What's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't you know how you can want to snap the word. How instead of doing something, you'd say, okay, let's do the other.
Improvise.
Thank you. But improvise is not the word. But for lack of a better word, let's say improvise. They don't do that. Like, I've had the opportunity to speak with Shelley's production team on a few jobs they called me for, but unfortunately because I was out of town or wasn't available, I couldn't shoot with. But watching Shelley's production,
Shelley from Poor
yes, she comes on with the quality that's needed. I've been on one TV show with Jocelyn Dumas that Shelley produced, and they do great and amazing work. And then you talk of your Layla also does your very solid productions. I've worked with Abdul Salam Mumuni.
Venus Films.
Yeah, Venus Films. Venus Films in the beginning for me, they had a little bit of a not so much of a certain look with their jobs, but eventually Salam just turned around and put so much professionalism in his work and Venus Films, and now you can add them to the group of people. There's one more person that I wanted to mention. Yes, Julieta Sante. Julieta Sante shot a Pan-African film that's
Eagle production.
yes, that's almost on all airlines right now. She was one of the first movies to go on Apple Play and your Netflixes and stuff. And she shot a Pan-African movie with Jocelyn and I, Annabelle, and a few people.
Do you
Silver
remember
Rain.
Yes.
The title of the movie is Silver Rain with Aina from Nigeria and a few
it was
guys
story
from
about
South Africa.
Kayayu.
Yes. Awesome production. Now, productions like that is what we need in the system. I remember going to Shy Hills to shoot a movie with some production house, I don't remember the name, and I left. I literally got on set.
House.
Yes. I saw how mediocre everything was going. There were 2 hours dragging behind. The camera was it's okay to start small. It's one thing to start small and be serious, but it's another thing to be mediocre. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and we really need to sit down as a country or as an entertainment industry and push that agenda.
We'll go back to the big brother. Now that you're on the movie side, let's speak about the movie. What do you think is the problem with the Ghana movie industry? First of all,
the people and the attitude.
The attitude.
The attitude. I'm a Ghanaian. 100% full Ghanaian. I be blood, and I'm proud of it. And I go to South Africa to shoot. And the attitude there is wake up on time, show up on time, let's shoot on time, and let's get this thing done and get the hell out of here. So you have your production meetings that specifically say when we're shooting what and what we're shooting, and this is your script, and everyone comes on set to play their specific part. Like I was appreciating my employees a few moments ago. Because if everyone comes to work to play their part on time and the right way, everyone's good.
Yeah.
But from the top to the bottom, everyone gets a little blasé about everything. A Ghanaian actor will say, when I go serve, they no go start on time, so make her relax. When they make ready, they go call me. A Ghanaian actor will say, Charlie, make her collect this money from Eagle Production, make a collect from Venus Film, make a collect from Sparrow, and we are shooting all this next week, but I go day Sparrow. If the pressure they come, I go tell Sparrow, say, I dey go hospital, my puppy, they sick. Then I go shoot for Venus Small. Those kinds of attitudes is what affect us, because one person can drag the entire production, and it's not seen to, they are re-employed. So your Elikem Kumordzi, the Tailor, is a good actor, so you employ him again and again, even though he's been mediocre. We're afraid to try new things, try new people, and fire people for the mediocrity they bring to the craft. That's what affects us the most.
What is the way forward, Ghana movie industry?
Attitude, again.
Change of attitude.
Change of attitude, change of mindset. Wanting to work as a team to bring the industry to a certain level is what we need. Because again, one man cannot do it by himself. If I want to show up on time, but the cameraman doesn't show up on time, it's still a deficit. If I want to show up on time, but director doesn't show up on time, it's still a deficit. if I want to read through my entire script and know my story, but my co-actor doesn't understand the story, and so they don't bring the same level of craftsmanship that I bring, it affects my performance because I'm not getting good energy back. So everybody needs to come together, which is a very difficult thing to do, but it's very achievable because if other people have done it, we can too.
Yeah. You made a statement that, I don't know if I should say, puts you in trouble.
Right.
That you don't think somebody or people can live 100% on acting. And some people disagreed with you.
Right.
You were advising people to get a second job
Right.
when they're in the industry. Do you still stand by what you said?
Yes.
Or has anything changed?
100%. I stand by the fact that a jack of all trade is the master of none, but most often better than a master of one. And multiple streams of income is the best way to go. Because as it stands, it's not only in Ghana, everywhere around the world, people in the entertainment space, actors, musicians, although they may be doing only acting at a certain period of time for a long time, they always almost have another stream of income or another job that supports and helps them in the event that they're not shooting. Because you find Hollywood actors shooting 2 years in a row, but go on another 2-year break.
Yeah.
Within the 2-year break, if all you survive on is your acting, I promise you your money might or will finish. And so I still stand by the fact that actors must find another job to attach to their jobs to create a multiple stream of income that in other terms help them. And ever since I've said that, it's been very evident with your TTs coming out to plead for support, with some of our friends in the industry.
Adjustments,
Yes, you see that they go down because all they wanted to do was acting and they didn't find themselves another job or stream of income that will support them in the event that they can't act anymore. And ever since I said that, those actors who silently bashed me or openly bashed me have found day jobs. And they have another craft to their craft. Some of them tried something, they failed, they're trying other things. I won't name drop because I don't want to trend from this video. But to mention a few jobs, some people have gone into share butter production, some people have gone into making shit up.
Yeah.
Some people have opened bars and pubs, some people sell juices now.
Clothing.
And you'll find that, yes, the trend now is all entertainers are finding another job to attach themselves to and not being latched onto just being an actor or entertainment, which is a good thing.
Wow. So do you agree with the people who think that the acting industry is dead and there's nothing you can do about it, or you believe there's hope?
There's a whole lot of hope.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the production houses and behind the scenes people make more money than the people in front of the camera for some reason. I don't know why. Which is still a good thing because they take their job seriously. Ivan Kwasiga shoots back to back to back. You'll see him after shooting To Have and to Hold. He's shooting something with Onga, like a TV show. Then he's shooting Inspector Bediakun.
Striker.
Then he's shooting Strike, his TV show.
Yeah.
He's constantly busy, constantly putting himself into work. And that's a great motivation for some of us because the moment you stop work, you're as good as your last job. And you're only worth as much as your last job. And if you don't learn more to make yourself better in your craft, Eugene of Nkonkonsa will only charge 500 Ghana cedi per post because his posts moving forward are not so creative. So you can't say, this is a new product. This is how I post newly, so I'm charging 200 cedis extra. You're still posting how you used to post 2 years ago. So why are you charging extra? So we need to be more creative with our craft so we can up our game and stay on top. That's the only way.
Wow, interesting. Let's go back to Big Brother. So what you're saying is that it's not possible for a Big Brother Ghana?
It is because what we need is, like I said, it's mostly the funding and infrastructure. So if we're able to import the right equipment and have the right location and have the right creative minds, the funding will come and make everything easy. But most importantly is the funding. Like I said, I've been behind the scenes, backstage of the Big Brother Africa show, and I've seen what the production looks like, and it's no joke. And Ghana might have the capacity, but I hope we have the discipline. It's possible. If we have the discipline, and if we have the infrastructure, it's possible. And the funds.
You went to Big Brother with a plan.
Right.
And you came out in love. How did that happen? I mean, did you plan for that too, or it just happened?
Pokello is an astonishing woman. She's amazing. And the moment
I remember breakfast in bed,
right.
house and all.
The moment I walked into the Ruby house, she was laying right there in the couch, and I was like, damn, that's a hot chick. I want that.
Wow.
And so
that's what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
As soon as I walked in,
Wow.
I looked at her and I was like, shit, like, this girl's hot. And so my whole game plan changed. I was like, now the game is about that girl. And Pokello was a tough seed to crack.
Yeah.
She was a tough nut to crack, pardon me. And so I had to constantly, like, play my game in and around her and her head to get to her. And it turned out great. We came out in love, madly in love. Did a whole massive proposal on stage.
Yeah, I remember.
Had a whole son, Tristan, wonderful child. And we're here now. We got a divorce eventually, irreconcilable differences, and a lot of nitty-gritties that I'm not willing to go into so deep. But yeah, the show was a great eye-opener for me, and Pokello came to play a very major role in my life.
People think the fact that you met her on TV is part of the reasons why maybe the marriage didn't work, because you didn't get time to know her off the limelight, off the cameras before you guys got serious. Do you agree with people who make that statement?
No, I don't think so. I want to think about it because I love to consider people and their opinions and what they say. And that could be one reason, but it's not. Pokello is a very intelligent woman. She's independent. She's a great mother. She's a great cook. I won't go too deep. What some other things she does that makes me think she's an amazing woman. But
and she's a good fashion person.
Yeah. She helped push my brand to a certain level as well. When she wears the clothes, it goes viral. It's fire. But I took my time to get to know Pokello, because one of the things we said in the house to each other was, this space is confined, and so let's go out there and read each other's energy and study each other and see if we really want to do this, and then let's do it. And mind you, I didn't propose to Pokello as soon as I came out of the house.
Yeah.
It took a couple years, and it took a couple more years to get married to her. So it was a long time coming. And so I don't think it was rushed. I don't think it was the space that made us break up. Like I said, there's a whole lot of nitty-gritty that went into it. Marriage is no joke. You're married, boss man. You know this.
I know.
There are evil forces that even want to come and attack you. And
from family, friends.
And I got married to Pokello at the age of 26. And I feel like to some extent, Pokello must have been a little more mature than I was. She's 3 years older than me, after all. She had a son that she had raised from the age of 16, 17. So she'd seen life from a different perspective, much more than I had. And majority of the reasons why we're not together anymore is mostly my fault.
Okay.
And I take the blame for it.
Okay.
But having said that, it was an amazing relationship I had with her. And it would have gone further if it wasn't for these small, irreconcilable differences.
I remember your marriage. The issue that came up with Pokello was your bride price, the bride price you paid for Pokello. I did a story on Peace FM Online.
Oh, really?
About $25,000.
It was a lot of money. You guys got the figure wrong, though.
How much? So set the record straight now.
So it's $20,000. I paid a deposit of $16,000. I had $4,000 more to go. I don't know where the $25,000 came about. They added $5,000 extra. But yes, it did scare me initially. But in Zimbabwe, you pay a bride price partly in cash, and some cows, and a suit for the father, and some other small stuff, like how you do a knocking in Ghana. But mine was put together, everything into cash, because I'm not from the country and I might not know where to go to get your cows
stuff,
and whatnot. So that's my story.
Wow.
With the bride price.
$20,000.
Yep.
I mean, even though it was not the amount we mentioned, people were like, "Why would you do that? Why would you?"
No, that's what I'm saying. Pokello is worth that amount.
Okay.
She's that kind of a woman. Yeah. So it wasn't a problem spending that money and being with the girl. You know, it was worth it.
And at the point where you realized that it was not working, did your mind go back to the money? You're like, "Oh man, I paid all this money and this thing."
No.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, Tristan is a wonderful child, and I love my son to bits.
How old is he now?
He's 6.
Okay.
He's going to turn 7 this year in December. So I think. Well, are you asking me if I paid $16,000 for a son like Tristan? Yeah, then it is worth it.
That's even priceless.
You know what I mean? So if we didn't have a child from the marriage, then I'll be saying smack. My money's gone down the drain because it didn't work. But we must have come together for the sole purpose of whatever we made together while we were together, for whatever is going to happen later on in life. So like I said, every situation we've been in, every juncture of our lives build us to who we are now and what we're meant to become. So I appreciate every moment I've lived with her. I appreciate all we've been through, because it's made me grow. And the older I get, I think the smarter I get. I think the more mature I get, and the more I appreciate life and where life has brought me to. So it's all pure bliss for me.
A few weeks ago, you came on social media, posted Pokello, saying all sorts of things.
Yeah.
What necessitated that?
I was feeling real apologetic in the time.
Why?
And it was
why that time?
It was a birthday.
Oh, it was
and I wanted to send a birthday message.
Okay.
And I was like, just go a little extra, you know. Because I've apologized to Pokello in person.
Okay.
I apologized to her mother.
What did you apologize for?
For just being not the man they expected me to be.
Okay.
Expectations of people can be quite limitless, and we're not superheroes. But there's a level of knowing and respecting people and appreciating people that we all need to learn, that I didn't exercise within the time I was with her. And that which I almost regretted, and so I have to apologize for. And so for me, a public apology or a public rant, like some people called it, was because our relationship was quite public and people didn't necessarily know the details of what happened, which to some extent is not so necessary. But a public apology to me was fixing a certain problem that made me more sane and made me feel more human, so that in the future, my children or people who look up to me can learn from, to become more human in relation to other people.
Okay. So you apologized to her privately, and then you decided to do it publicly
as well.
How did she take that?
She didn't like the public. Pokello doesn't like.
I mean, privately, did she call you to say she has accepted it? Did you guys speak?
So I go to Zimbabwe every now and then to see my son. Every time I'm around Southern Africa, I jump into Zim. I spend time with the boy. I fly him into South Africa. We have a good time. And me and Pokello are quite cordial, hey? I live a couple doors away from my house sometimes when I go there. And I could walk to the house and have breakfast sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how cool we are.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, that a good thing came out of our being together, and that's what I appreciate. And I literally am, and these are the public things that she doesn't like. But to her mother, I went on my knees and I apologized because I'd talked back to her mother in a certain way that wasn't respectful enough. Okay. In recent times, I've gotten very close to my mother, and I'm loving and appreciating her as a mother and what she has been through to take care of us as children. So mothers need to be given the most maximum respect. So I literally went to my knees and felt so apologetic to her mother and to Pokello herself. I didn't go on my knees with Pokello, but there was that thing of, I'm sorry things had to go this way, and I wasn't such a good guy, but I'm glad where we are now. It was more of a conversational apology more than like a very downside type of apology. And yeah, she must have gotten over it, to allow me eat breakfast in her house after a divorce. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
So I think we're both in a good space now. She's living her best life as always. She's always been a strong woman. One of the great attributes of Pokello that I loved so much, and she keeps winning, which I'm happy for. So my son is in a good space, being taken care of a good woman because she's still winning.
So now, how many years has it been since Pokello?
Since the divorce, or since, because we separated for a while before the divorce, maybe 3 years, 4.
So is Elikem single? I see you with a baby.
No. I have a son now. I'm with his mother.
Okay.
We actually live together.
Okay.
I'm not single at all.
You want to tell us a few things about her? Who is she?
Well, she's a model.
Person? Oh, she's a model.
She's a model.
What's her name?
Up and coming Hajara.
Okay.
And she's also such great personality, very humble, very forthcoming, very creative. She's also a fashion person. She studied fashion in the University of Science and Technology, Tech at Kumordzi. And she helps the facets of my business in different ways. She takes care of mostly, she takes care of about 60 or 70% of the women part of the clothing. Okay. And she models the clothes very well. And she gave me a beautiful son. I say he's beautiful because his looks are out of this world. He's gorgeous. Yeah, if that's a word to use for a boy.
I saw him when I was saying, Charlie, the women are dead.
He's fresh.
Yeah.
He's too fresh. Like I'm wondering, is that my son? Like, and Tristan, somebody for fine past somebody, but Posse fine past Tristan. I'm not gonna lie. Tristan has got his beautiful looks as well. Tristan is also a fine boy, but Posse, he's a gem, and I'm happy I had him, and I'm glad I'm in this space. I'm happy.
From the way you're speaking, you're even blushing. You're almost.
Posse, yeah, like
what the baby and the mom.
I want to swallow Posse when I'm holding him. Like literally, he's a baby to die for. Everyone sees him and they want to touch him. They have good things to say about him, and I mean, all babies are cute, but Posse is just different. He's just different. He's got like a glowing aura around him. There's just something about him that just attracts so much goodness. And anywhere I take Posse, I get one big job or another.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I walk with him into a.
So I understand why you go out with him a lot.
Yeah, everywhere. On red carpets, I'm with Posse. Because Posse brings a different light to me, and I don't want to say my soul, but that's how deeply I feel, my son has come to change things for me.
So is it leading to marriage, Hajara?
Well, yeah, the possibilities are endless. I've said I'm very slow to wanting to get married again, but never say never. Having said that, I've seen her parents, her mom, her dad. We're both in our good books. But I'm not jumping to, I'm going to get married tomorrow or next week. I'm going naturally with the flow because you know what they say. Once you've been bitten,
Twice shy.
So
and then there are lessons that you've learned from the past that is going to help you in this.
Great lessons. So I'm taking my time, but like I said, never say never.
So would you say you're happy now as we speak?
Totally. I can see my investments going up.
Financially,
yes,
everything.
Completely. My body is the greatest it's ever been, ever since I was born. I want to lose a little more weight.
Okay.
But I spend more time in the gym now. I'm more focused in the gym. I read more. I write more. I listen more to people. I consider people more. My business is better and bigger than it was. I'm putting up buildings and structures, and I'm in a very happy place mentally, physically, financially.
Psychologically,
I'm in a much better place. Because I think also with growth, you learn a lot of things, and then other people come in to make you realize also a lot of other things. So I'm the most happiest right now, and I can be happier, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you as well.
Thank you.
Wow. And Elikem Kumordzi, the tailor. I mean, there's a perception
Right.
that people used to say about you, but
Right.
seeing Hajara, I don't know if
They say I like rich women, and then Hajara is not so rich.
They say you like rich and women who are older than you.
Right.
Is that true? And if it's not true, what would you say to correct that perception?
Well, I think you've said it yourself, because then that comes to show that they were just perceptions, period. Because if that was the case, then I'll be with an older rich woman, having kids with. Having said that, my attraction to women is not intentional. I don't say I have a criteria. I'm only attracted to fat women or skinny women or big women or small women. I am attracted more to the personality and brain of the individual. I like to call myself more of a sapiosexual. So then when I engage with the person, talk with the person, be with the person, I pick up certain things about the person that makes me want to be with the person. And unfortunately, people have only heard about my relationships with older rich women, but they don't know about my other relationships. I dated for almost 2 years another girl who lives in America right now, and the relationship ended only because she moved to the States. Stuff like that, and people don't know that.
We didn't hear
I've dated younger girls. I dated a girl when I was in Legon, somewhere around level 200-300 for a short period of time. Nobody heard about that. And after I divorced Pokello, I was with 1 or 2 other women that wasn't older, that wasn't richer, and no one heard about that. So unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, only what people hear and see is what they know, but it's far from that. Yeah.
I can see it myself. It's very evident. Another thing that you can decide to correct it or not, or leave it as it is a controversy that came about Odatelamte and his wife. Your name came up.
Right.
And
a whole lot of names came up.
People said a lot of things. Would you want to address that? If you don't, I can still move forward.
I think that issue came, it was done with, it was dusted, so we leave it dusted.
Okay.
Reasons are, like I said, we go through certain things, events, and situations to make us who we are now and what we become moving forward. So I like to leave it dusted. I don't want to, open up old wounds. It hurt a lot of people, stories that came out, including the people involved and the names that were mentioned. And mentioning names again and talking about it again is just going to resurrect,
the whole thing
dead bodies. Yeah, so we leave it.
Now I want to bring Hajara. Do you mind?
No, the interview was for me and about me, so Hajara stays behind the camera. I think Hajara should be slow to jump into the limelight, because the entertainment industry and the limelight is savage. Fame is savage. They will cut you open into two, dissect you, see you bleeding and not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I have had a whole lot of controversy dragging with me. And I don't think it's fair to drag it into my situations unless she's ready for it or she creates her own path and niche. And she's becoming a little popular on social media now with her modeling and her photos and some of her reels.
And you step out with her.
And her videos. Yeah, I post her sometimes. And I think
I remember your reel that has the
2
most
million views.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
with her and the baby.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's with her and the baby.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to crawl up into situations nice and
Slowly, yeah.
knowing what you're getting into, rather than jumping and not knowing. For me, I jumped right into the entertainment space not knowing how savage it was, and it hit me. And I wouldn't advise anyone, especially the mother of my child, to jumping like that, not knowing so much how savage it is. Yeah.
Wow. Tell us how you're able to juggle between being a dad, being a fashion designer, being an actor, and other things that you do. How are you able to do that?
It's a shitload of hard work, man.
Yeah. I mean, I ask these questions to motivate other people. I mean, people are torn between just 2 jobs or maybe one, and they can't even make time for other things. So how are you able to put everything? You make time for family as well?
I don't know. Someone recently said to me, Elikem, your energy is admirable. And I was saying to myself, what do I do? And they explained to me how from when I wake up to when I sleep, I am back to back to back to back to back. And my secret is waking up to solve one problem at a time. I don't wake up to say I'm going to work. I wake up to say, what problems do I have to solve today? What situations need fixing? And that's how I deal with it. So that if my son needs a fix, I see to it. If one of my employees need a fix, I see to it. And it's not just about work or making money. Real human beings have real life situations to deal with. And that's what we deal with on a daily basis. And if you're able to work and fix your problems individually as a person, work comes naturally. Work flows easily, and everything you do fixes itself. Like if you're not in good health, you can't even show up for work. So one of the most important things I pride myself with doing is taking care of myself first, and then I help take care of other people.
Okay. What is the biggest achievements you say you have achieved within all these years in the industry?
I think I'm slowly becoming the best version of myself.
Okay.
Which is, I think, a great achievement. Because when I become the best version of myself, I become good at everything else. I must be a good TV show host for the biggest music scheme in Ghana to want me to host the event.
The biggest event, actually.
For Vodafone Ghana Music Awards to want me to host the red carpet, I must be a good MC for Glitz to want me to host the award show. I must be a good TV show host for Old Mutual's Amazing Voices, one of the biggest productions in South Africa, to want me to host their show. And it's all from being or becoming the person I am and the person I want to become. It's all from learning. Les Brown, who is one of the greatest motivational speakers I know, says that if you want to become successful in life, there are 3 things. Aside being around only quality people, you also need to learn that you don't get in life what you want. You get in life who you are. And who you are is as a result of what you learn and what you know. So you learn from your experiences. And Will Smith said something that every millions and billions of people have lived before us. And every mistake we're going through now, people have been through, and they've written about it in books, and they've filmed it in videos. And if you can just take the time out to learn whatever situation or thing or outcome that you want to learn, you become that person. And once you know, you can't unknow. And you speak a certain way, you walk a certain way, you talk a certain way. Your business is fixed a certain way because you've become that person and you know. So I pride myself in becoming a better person from learning, and that's what I think my greatest achievement should be. Okay. To become that person that impacts, myself, the world, and other people.
What would you say is your biggest challenge? In everything you do.
Staying disciplined.
Okay.
all the greatest people in the world became great only because of discipline. The moment you get off your discipline, you lose it. There was a recent picture that trended of Vin Diesel with a big stomach on a boat. And people were bashing him that he's gained weight and the discipline of staying in the gym and keeping a good diet keeps you fit. But once you let go a little bit, you gain the weight. And it's the same with learning or your job and like I said, keeping fit with your body and staying afloat with work is the discipline of going to the gym and keeping a good diet or working out at home or running. And so my most difficult thing to do is to stay disciplined. And I find that once I discipline myself a little bit in the shortest frame of time, I'm able to achieve great things. And so that's what I mostly want to do and stay disciplined and be disciplined.
What's your biggest regret in life for now?
I try not to regret anything or any situation. Again, we become who we become and who we are going to become because of situations and issues we've been through. You only learn from failure. You only learn from mistakes. You only learn from the downsides of your life. Adversity introduces a man to himself. And only when you're down and hungry, you make a plan. Some of the greatest people in the world started the greatest companies from garages. And you hear the stories of the Stone Boys and the Sarkodiers. And there was one story I heard of Stone Boy from a friend of mine. I don't know if it's true. And how he used to walk a distance, a long-ass journey, coming to a certain studio, all sweaty, because he was determined. And if Stone Boy was comfortable at the time and his parents were rich and he drove an air-conditioned car, he might not have had the same level of determination to achieve. But because you're hungry and you're sweating and you don't have transportation, you would want to make way to make that transportation, and that's where you tap deep into your talent. And once you see what works and how it works, you don't want to back down and you want to achieve and be better.
I know you have a lot of dreams. I know you are somebody who dreams. Which one is the biggest? The dreams you have that you have not achieved yet.
My biggest dream is to see my children become the best versions of themselves. T.D. Jakes said, it's not what you leave for your children, it's what you leave in them. And the training and the discipline you instill in them makes them become what they become. So one of my greatest fears is not being able to leave the right discipline in my children. And that's all I wake up to work for. I wake up to work to leave the legacy. And when I say my children, I don't mean the people who are just biologically mine. I'm talking about the people who see me as a father figure, as a mentor. I want to be able to impact and instill a certain discipline in them. So I have people working with me who haven't paid a dime that I'm teaching and mentoring. And there's other people who I let pay an arm and a leg to teach. It's because the different disciplines we leave in different people. And it's not always about the money, but it's about the impact you can create. And that's what I'm working for.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far in life?
Is to take each day as it comes. You can't plan and predict the future. Stay fit, stay woke, stay energetic, love everyone equally, appreciate life as it comes, and face and attack each problem and failure as it comes. So I'm sitting here expecting this building to collapse. And I'm ready because I know the way out. I have a backup plan. I'm sitting here ready expecting to lose a family member to death so that I know the way out. I know what to do. I know how to stabilize myself. I know how not to lose my mind and have a mental deficit, because it's going to happen to everybody. Death is inevitable. Problems are going to come. But are you ready for the problem, or are you going to let it hit you like you didn't know what's coming? And I know we all say, in the name of Jesus, it shouldn't happen to me. God forbid. But who should it happen to? Should I wish for it to happen to Eugene's wife?
No.
rather than my wife? Should I wish for it to happen to Kojo's son rather than my son? It can happen to anyone any day. I lost my dad when I was 12 years old. So I know life can hit you the hardest when you least expect it. And so I'm ready to face whatever life brings to me, and I'm ready to face it with grace. Les Brown says again, if you don't deal with it with grace, it will stay in your face.
Who is Elikem? A lot of people know you in the limelight.
Shall I answer like Wendy Shea or?
This is not a dumb question. Give us an idea. Where did you go to school? How's your family? How many are you? In a nutshell,
I started off quite well. My father was one of the breadwinners in his family. He came out from a poor home where his brothers and sisters thought he was a child out of wedlock. So he worked his way through tech. Came out a good engineer, quantity surveyor, built a couple houses. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I had a rough childhood and there was no food to eat. No. It was very good for me in the beginning. My father used to take me to school and bring me back in a C-class when it had just come out, a Mercedes-Benz C-class. And every birthday I would have cakes and drinks. And I started off from Cable Clare, which is an amazing school. Cable Clare is responsible for some of the way I think and speak. They taught us great phonetics and all your horticulture and you know, all that great stuff. Then I later on went to Engelbert for junior high. I didn't appreciate leaving Cable Clare to Engelbert because then that was when life started dipping for me. Because Cable Clare was said to be an international Montessori type school with a certain type of teaching and learning environment, and Engelbert was like a whole dusty situation with you know, that kind of situation. So that's when life started dipping for me, and I could see it, and I felt like, what's going on? But you know, you take life as it comes, and even then, as a child, 12 years, 13 years, after 1 year of being in the university, in JSS, I lost my father, and like I said, because things started dipping, then things went downhill some more and went flat. So I moved from sitting in a C-class Mercedes-Benz to taking a trotro. And I wasn't just taking a trotro to school. I would queue at Jolu Junction and jump at the back of a La Paz trotro only to get space to go home.
Wow.
So I had felt the best of both worlds. And that's what has made me become the Elikem of today. I'm able to live and enjoy the space of the rich, mighty, and powerful. I'm able to relate with them, eat with them. Your fine dinings and sorts. I've lived in a 7-star hotel, but I've also slept in a wooden kiosk, a barbering shop at Mamprobi, and eating food from the side of a gutter, which is all okay because, like I said, those things make you become the person you need to become in future. And so I've had the best of both worlds, and I'm very appreciative for it. I learned later on in life that to become the best, most successful person, you need a combination of the intellectual, good life and the bad hustle street life. And so I'm grateful for where I've come. I wouldn't wish for anything else.
So from Engelbert
to St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh, okay.
I studied
and
business,
then to Legon.
and then to the University of Ghana, and then a fashion school.
How many are you, your siblings?
We're a total of 9, I think. 2 passed.
Okay.
And we're about, we must have been 10 or 9, 2 passed. There's like 8 of us.
How
left.
many male? How many female?
We have 2 girls.
Okay.
And we have about 6 or 7 guys. Agbe, Jifa, Senanu, Elikem, Koblashim, Joshua. 7 guys, 2 girls.
And which number are you?
I am number 5-ish, 6-ish. There's
Okay.
3 boys after me. Koblashim, Joshua.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're ending the interview. If there's anything at all you want to address, anything at all you want to say that I haven't asked, You can go ahead. The camera is in front of you.
No, I only answer questions you ask.
Go ahead.
You haven't asked any question. No. Like I'm saying, like, I don't regret anything at all. Because everything that I faced in life has made me who I am today. And I'm grateful for the person I've become. I'm more financially free. I appreciate the body I have more. It could all get better. I'm in a good space now. I have Posse. Posse's mother is also, good to me and with me. And I appreciate the juncture I'm at right now because it couldn't have been any better. I don't know any better. And I am planning and praying to stay the most disciplined I can be to get to where I want to get to.
Okay, that will be all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Answering all the questions very frankly. At least.
I tried my best.
As far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much, Alice.
Welcome, Moss. Thank you.